Blimey, it has been a minute since I've done this.
Right, where do I start? Hello and welcome back to the channel, I suppose. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lewis. I attempt to do triathlon, and I have also been trying to document my triathlon journey since it kind of all began, really. The last 6 months, I've not uploaded a video. I think my last video was when I came second at the European Middle Distance Champs in Coimbra, which was a decent video. I'll link it up here if you want to go and watch that. Kind of just a race recap. Since then, I have done more races, some successful races actually, ones which kind of wish I had made videos on, but it's a little bit late now. So in this video, I'm going to cover the races that I did, how kind of well I did in them, give a very, very quick recap of how the races went. Also going to give you an explanation as to why I've not made a video about any of them races or of anything really in the last 6-7 months. And also, now it's 2025, which is weird to say, kind of where I'm at now and my plans going forward. So the first race I did after that was Outlaw Half in Holkham, which is a race that I absolutely love. I absolutely love the Outlaw races. I did have the opportunity to work with them last year, which was really cool. I don't think I have that same opportunity again this year, which is a bit unfortunate because I'd love to have done all of their races. And coming into the 2025 season, I will explain more about that at the end of this video, but they were kind of on my radar to do them. So yeah, Holkham, I ended up placing 10th, I believe, 3rd in my age cap, which, considering like these outlaw races, if you're not from the UK, they're massive races in the UK. And yes, to come top 10 in one of them was really, really good for me. The swim, from what I can remember, bear in mind this was like I say, 6-7 months ago now. The swim went pretty average for me. I remember feeling good in the water, but time wasn't amazing. I'll pop it up on screen if I can remember it. The bike, I remember pushing decent power. I think I held 260 watts. I can't remember my time. God, this is bad. I can't remember my time. I remember pushing 260 watts, averaging 23.7 miles per hour maybe, or 8. I don't know, somewhere around that. Again, I'll pop it up on screen. And then the run, I remember the run quite well actually. The first, you do 3 laps on the run at Holkham, and you kind of go up this really long, steady hill. Then it's a bit undulating, and then a small sort of like steady decline. You do that 3 times. So I remember the first lap, my legs felt horrendous. I remember getting to the end of the first lap thinking, I'm going to be walking this. And then I checked, I got to the end of the first lap and my legs started coming around. I checked my watch and I was running like 640s per mile in zone. My heart rate was in like top end of zone 2. So I was thinking, hang on a minute, maybe my body's actually quite good. It just needed to flush out the bike. And also when you come off the bike and go straight uphill, obviously it hurts your legs quite a bit, be a bit of a shock to the system. So then started picking it up and ended up, I think I negative split it quite a bit, and also finished like the last 10k in like 38 something, finished the last 5k in 18 something maybe. Ended up having a really, really good finish, and overall I think I got a half marathon PB of 123 or 24 off the bike, something like that. And yeah, ended up feeling really quite strong at the end, which was a really, really good sign, especially going into the next race, which was Ironman Tallinn, which is the first full distance triathlon I've done in a very long time, in like 3 years, only my second one ever. Long story short of that, the conditions ended up being a lot tougher than I was expecting. The swim was meant to be in a lake, turned out it got moved to the sea, and it was a really weird swim. It was like must have been almost I don't know, maybe a 200-meter walk in the sea before you could even swim, and you kind of came up to it was really weird. So ended up having a pretty poor swim time. It was like 1:10, which I was more looking at around an hour to an hour and 5 mark, which wasn't great. The bike, again, it was meant to be flat and fast course, which it was, but what made it annoying was there was some like crazy strong winds. If you've watched any other race reports from that, you'll know that, yeah, ended up being really quite tough and the winds were horrible. So that made it a fun day out. I ended up, I think power-wise, I was like 210 watts for the whole thing. Kept it in zone 2. It all felt relatively easy, the bike, if I'm honest. It weren't like, probably could have gone a bit harder maybe, but is what it is. Like I say, I was kind of just feeling out what an Ironman should feel like, so I know how to pace it next time. I ended up the 4:44 bike split, I think, or I don't know, around there. And then onto the run. This was where like you get your typical of feelings and emotions and everything from an Ironman. So I remember starting out the run, and I ran it the first few miles at like a 7-minute mile on the dot, I think. And then I got to the halfway point, and up until, maybe like 10, 11, 12 miles, I was feeling really, really good. Like I was like, marathon, this is going to be easy. Like I felt unbelievable. And 7-minute mile in, it was like between 7 and 7:15s. It honestly felt like I was going out for an easy jog. It was like the best feeling. And I thought, I'm going to smash this marathon, as probably most people do for the first like 10 miles. I did have to take a toilet break, which was a little bit annoying, and I couldn't for the love of me, get my tri-suit on and off. So I ended up taking took, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, which was a bit annoying, but is what it is. And then, got to the halfway point, and instantly like that, I went dizzy. I felt sick. I slowed right down to like 7:45 to 8-minute mile in. I was like, just dead. I felt like I was going to be it was the first time I was like, I could feel my legs slowing down to almost want to start walking. And I was like, no, just try and keep it up a little bit. And then I remember from when I did my first full distance that I had a similar sort of feeling. And the only way that I could not have that feeling was to basically raid an aid station, get banana in, water, and flat Coke. Flat Coke and banana. I don't know what it did to me, but I walked through this aid station at exactly halfway, because it's 4 loops. It was after the second lap. And after that, I was like feeling again like on top of the world. I was like, it was like literally a flick of a switch to feeling horrendous. Raided the aid station, and a flick of a switch, and I felt amazing. It was crazy. So did that, and then kind of from there, picked the pace back up again to like between 7 and 7:15s, and then and felt strong again for the next maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 miles. And every aid station, I was doing the same thing. I was kind of like slowly jogging / walking through them, bit of banana, flat Coke, and then sometimes also water as well, where I felt like I needed it. Ended up kind of doing that the whole way through to the end. Slowed down a little bit towards the end, and I think I did a 3:14 marathon, if my memory serves me correct, which gave me an overall time of like 9 hours and 19 minutes. Can't remember where I placed overall. It was somewhere around the top 20, I think. I don't remember. Somewhere around the top 20. Ended up picking up a slot for the Ironman World Champs, which is another story, but they're a rip-off, basically. Sorry, Ironman, but I didn't realise how much an Ironman ticket cost to the World Champs, and it was like over $1,000. It's just, which kind of wound me up and kind of ruined it after the excitement of accepting the slot, but is what it is. So I have that slot, which kind of leads me nicely into plans for, no, actually, before we talk about that, I'm going to talk about why I didn't upload videos for them races and for training videos and stuff like that. Basically, I think that was the first year, that 2024, that I'd ever worked with brands. So I was lucky enough to work with Outlaw and Zone 3, which were both amazing companies. I still can't say enough good things about them. Zone 3, I believe my discount code does still work. So if you want to get anything from Zone 3, go to zone3.com/Lewis, or use code Lewis at checkout and you get 20% off. Amazing pieces of equipment. I use them, all of their stuff, all year, and honestly can't fault it. Where was I? Yeah, why didn't I upload videos? So basically, first time working with brands, first time doing races abroad, first time doing a championship race that Europeans chance. Also, if you watched any of my videos at the start of last year, I was going through a bit of life trouble through my job and stuff, which was kind of, basically, it's just a lot of stress through that year for me. And I think doing the videos on top of all that stress, it got a bit much for me, if I'm honest. And now after the Coimbra video, which I still struggle to make that Coimbra video. It's just like when you're training and doing all this stuff around life, and it was one thing too much, I think, for me. So I ended up just not out of like a decision, I suppose, but more just it happened. I stopped making videos. I do have footage from Tallinn and a little bit from Holkham, I think. And so I could have made a video. I did film through it and stuff, but honestly, I think it just got too much. And so I ended up, like I say, not consciously, but subconsciously, I suppose, kept putting it off. And 6-7 months down the line, and we're here, and I've not made a video. But this is obviously, I'm trying to get back into things now. I feel much better. I feel more refreshed. I'll go on to 2025 in a second, but before that, I'll just talk about the last few weeks sort of training and stuff. So the last, probably like a month or two ago, also actually in that period, I had like a million holidays and things to pay for, which was stressing me out, or just another stress anyway. I started like probably mid of November, I started getting back into a really good training routine. Training before that, after Tallinn, was like here and there, not consistent, not great, not a lot. But yeah, midway through November, started getting really back into my training, and it felt really good. And I started feeling strong again. And then probably 3 or 4 weeks later, so sort of probably towards the start of December, I ended up getting a really bad injury in my ribs. It was playing golf, actually. I started kind of getting a little bit into golf. I think my technique's been bad. I was probably swinging at a ball too hard, trying to look cool, and I ended up tearing something in here somewhere. Struggled to walk for like a week. Couldn't swim, could barely like reach up over my head. It was really bad. Took a few days off, then went on Zwift and just sort of did hour spins for a little bit. Not great training at all. Got Christmas out the way. It was still hurting. Took like probably 3 weeks of it really hurting. It is feeling a lot better now. And then towards after Christmas, I felt a lot better in my kind of ribs, to the point where I could start swimming and running again. Ended up getting a cold, which was annoying, and I probably shouldn't have done this, but I did anyway. I trained through the cold. I'm kind of at the tail end of the cold now. And that kind of leads us up to now. So the last week to 10 days, I've had finally consistent training. Like I said, I've had this cold, and maybe it's affecting performance. Maybe it's doing whatever. Maybe it's making me hold the cold for longer. I honestly, at the minute, don't care. Like, it feels so good to be consistent again and like wake up looking forward to some training. Hence why I'm making this video. I feel so much more refreshed, and I feel like I want to start making videos again, and I don't want to feel like I have to force making videos. I want to do them as and when they come and what feels right. So that's what I'm going to do with the videos going forward. I've probably rambled a lot, so I'm going to now go on to my plans for 2025. Based on how stressful last year was, we had races abroad, doing lots of big races. My plan is to do a lot of races still, but do a lot of local, smaller races. Not because, I'd love to go and do all the big Ironmans and travel abroad and pay all the money, but I firstly can't afford it. Secondly, it takes up too much time. Like, it's a lot to travel, do all the traveling and all that. And it's a lot more stressful for time and money wise. And just from racing perspective, you want to make sure you're prepared if you spent all that money. So I'm going to stick to doing some local races. I've booked a few up already. I've got a standard distance duathlon in April, just kind of get warmed up, I suppose. I've got a 100k race, local race, not like a T100 race, in May, which I'm going to do. I'm going to do Grafman triathlon, which I did a couple of years ago now. I'm going to do that one again, which is the start of June. And then I would like to do Outlaw Full in Nottingham in July. But I'm going to see about that one. I haven't booked that yet, just because, well, firstly, again, it is still quite a bit of money. It's like a good £300 you've got to spend for a ticket. It's a lot more training. I'm gonna see with that one, but I would like to do it. It's the plan. And then I haven't figured out exactly what race I want to do for August yet. I did have it in my notes somewhere. I've got a list of a couple of different races. And then September is the Ironman World Champs, which obviously, like I just said, I've qualified for. That one I'm like 80% sure I'm doing. I feel like I should do it because I've spent the stupid amount of money on it, on the ticket. So I'd like to do it. So that's in the plan. And then possibly like another couple of races here and there throughout the season. So that's kind of my very rough 2025 season plan. I have recently also bought a camper van, or not a camper van. I bought a standard panel van, which I'm going to hopefully turn into, or kind of halfway through turning into a bit of a camper van, which has been a really fun project to do outside of triathlon, which was obviously going to help with traveling to these races. So Nice, I might use that and I might drive over, do it as a bit of a holiday as well, which would be kind of cool. Yeah, I think that'll probably do it for this video. I don't want to talk too much, and I know talking videos can be like real boring and uninteresting. There's been no training or anything really in this video, kind of just a big update for those of you who do care. So I'm going to kind of keep it there. Let me know if you're racing any races in the 2025 season and which ones you're doing, especially if they're like UK-based ones, because I might add them to my list. I want to have a look and see what's about. So yeah, definitely make sure you let me know in the comments. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year, and have slightly enjoyed this video. So if you did, please make sure you like, comment any questions you had down below, and I'll see you next time for some more triathlon related content.